Good morning, everybody. This is Denny, and I'm here from Master Teaching. This morning, I'd like to talk to you about the idea of labelling children and whether it's really important in a classroom. And I think for some people and in some instances it is, but I know that we have a lot of children in classrooms who don't have labels, and we tend to look for labels. So what I want to talk to you about is the idea that actually many of the strategies that we suggest for ASD-related problems, and I'm only going to call them problems, they're not problems necessarily, that many of those strategies work generally across lots of groups of children, and we don't sometimes need to label children to be able to use those strategies. So feel free to do that, and please feel free also to experiment a little bit within reason. Controlled experiments on behaviour are quite useful. On the whole, I find the most effective thing to do with children who can self-regulate to some extent. You find that the best remedy is to be able to discuss with them and negotiate with them and give them agency. That's number one. But having said that, with children who may be unlabelled, may be labelled, etc., with ASD-related things, perhaps we need to look more carefully at the kinds of strategies which work, and they're very often around looking at the triggers, what actually sets it off. And in some cases, we have no idea, really. It almost looks sometimes as though it's quite a chemical thing. I observed a little boy the other day who was having, I think, autistic events, and regular ones, not separated out, but say every 20 minutes. And so it was almost like a need to stim, but actually the need was very physically driven. So I spoke to him about what it felt like to him and what to do about it. And he had reached the grand old age of 12 and been at school for a very long time with almost no intervention whatsoever. So my discussion with him was around what did he think would work. And he said that he used drumming on his desk, and he used movement as a way of using that energy. He described the energy as being uncontrollable, and that if he was trying to mask that energy, it was exploding inside him. So there were times when he just could not mask that need to move. So as a teacher, what do you do about that? What can you do? What kinds of things can you do? Well, I think you have to have the discussion first with the student. Second, you have to try out some ways of helping them to find a safe place to give off that energy, and or to get rid of that energy, if that's how we want to put it. And I think you actually have to provide them with a safe space, but they have to agree to it. It has to feel safe to them. They have to feel they have ownership of it. They need to have the freedom to go to that space, but they also need to have warned you that that's what's happening, or warned if they have a teacher's assistant nearby, etc. They need to have told someone that's where they are, and it may not be words that they use for that. So a card is a useful thing, a visual symbol that they leave, can hand over to you, can leave in their place on their desk if absolutely necessary, but not the best thing to do. Lots of ways around that. Now, you could actually adapt that technique a little bit to work with your other students. Have you ever thought about just at the beginning of the year, after you've had your children for, 6 weeks, you've got to see how they behave in the class by then. So then start looking at where you think you might need to have some interventions, because they'll be obvious, and interview those children about what they feel they need to do better at school, to succeed, to whatever it is they, to fit in better if that's what they think. And don't ask necessarily negative questions, ask positive questions. Really try to frame things positively, look for their strengths. What things can you see? I know you're very capable of understanding yourself. So can you tell me some things about you? What do you do when? And that question, be very honest with them, because you'll get honesty back. And you will have actually broken the barrier. Can I talk about this? Is this a bad thing that I can't discuss with anybody? Should I keep quiet about my behavior or these feelings that I have? We need them to discuss these questions, because these questions, the answers to these questions are the answers to their managing to regulate themselves, which is what we're looking for. It probably isn't going to change for them over a long period of time, but the way they manage it can change, and making them aware and feel better about it is very, very important to their success. So can you please just think about that? So I've had a little think about that. This boy that I'm talking about, and I won't tell you his name, but the boy that I'm talking about was a lovely kid, and really very bright. And in between his disruptive periods, he was getting on and doing really good work and having intelligent conversations, etc. But after 20 to 30 minutes, he would be moving everywhere. He was drumming on his desk. He was drumming on the kid next to him. He was doing everything he could do to annoy anybody he could, but it wasn't about annoying them. It was about, I've got energy. I need to give it off. Can you please take it from me? I need to give it to you, and I have to interrupt you because I'm having this event. Do you see where I'm coming from? So this child needs to be able to communicate and needs a safe place. So that's what I've been thinking about today. And that came from just an observation. So observations give you lots of information. Do more of that. Do more reflection on your observations. If you're a young teacher, learn how to do it. Do it. I know they're going to tell you, you haven't got time to be doing that, blah, blah. Stop listening to that. This will save you time. This will help the kids. Do what helps the kids. Okay, that's my lot for just now, and I'm sure that I'm going to come up with something else because my brain is working overtime at the moment on those kinds of things. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.